Greetings. I am so delighted to welcome you to the Marfan Foundation's 2026 Global Virtual Conference. My name is April Dawn Shinsky, and I am honored to serve our extraordinary community as the Marfan Foundation's Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. Today, we are together as one global foundation family that includes 1,639 registrants and counting from 49 states and 55 countries. Our Stickler, VEDS, Loeys Dietz, Marfan, and related conditions communities are well represented. We have teens, kids, and adults with us for conference. Most of all, we are here to help everyone know, connect, and thrive. Whether you are living with a condition, have a loved one who is living with a condition, have experienced loss related to a condition, are a family caregiver, a professional caregiver, a scientist, healthcare team member, or some combination of those many important roles, we welcome you today with open arms. Likewise, we know that many of you have been building community through the foundation for decades, and others may be meeting us for the first time today. No matter where and how you are connecting with us today, we want you to know that you belong here. You are the reason that the Marfan Foundation exists, and together with you, the Marfan Foundation drives research, education, and support and builds community to improve outcomes, save lives, and empower all people to thrive who are connected with Marfan, Loeys Dietz, vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndromes, Stickler, and related genetic aortic and vascular conditions. Now let's learn more from our community members and our President and CEO, Michael L. Weamer, with this video commemorating 45 life-saving years of the Marfan Foundation.
Whether you happen to be at a conference, be it one of our walks around the country, be it a gala, there are people like you. There is good news even when you have a rare condition, and you come to the Marfan Foundation to get that news.
This whole foundation has helped so many people that are searching for answers, so many people that need help finding doctors, so many people that need to have that community because they live in places where there's nobody like them.
When I was first diagnosed with Marfan's, nobody in my town, the doctors didn't understand or know anything about Marfan's, and thank God for the Marfan's Foundation and for the knowledge and the education.
Connective tissue disorders are something that are not often seen, but are certainly impactful to people's lives.
As newer organizations like Loeys Dietz and VEDS have become part of the foundation, someone will often say, well, that's where Marfan was 30 years ago. Optimism is amazing around our medical community and our scientific community.
The next 30 years will be even better. I see a bright future for research and clinical care in Marfan syndrome and related conditions.
When I was first diagnosed, I would hear things like the life expectancy is like 50 or 60 or 70, and I'm 54 now. It's amazing that there's so much more out there to help folks and to make anything seem possible.
Using just the word community is not fair to the foundation because everything they do is more than just a sense of community. It's hope, it's exciting, it makes you want to think of the future when the future can look dark. The walk, the fundraising, everything is just little spots of joy in a journey that can seem endless.
When you made a contact with the Marfan Foundation, you will never be alone again.
Thank you to our community members for sharing your stories and to everyone who has in some way helped us make so much progress over the last 4 decades. Before we move further into today's program, we have a few housekeeping items. Please feel free to connect with your fellow attendees in the chat throughout the conference. Use the Q&A feature to submit questions during workshops and ask the expert sessions. If we're not able to answer your medical question during a session, please reach out to the Foundation's Help and Resource Center. You're going to see the link for that a lot. It's marfan.org/ask. That's marfan.org/ask. Workshops and Ask the Expert sessions will be recorded and available to view later during the conference in Zoom and after the conference on our YouTube channel. If you're attending the conference on your phone, please return to the main event page at the end of each session to select your next session. Our conference is truly a global event. Representing the community from Johannesburg, South Africa, we are lucky to welcome a longtime foundation volunteer and all-around extraordinary person, Zainab Mohammed. Zainab is always willing to reach out and build connections in any way that she can. Today is no exception. Let's watch Zainab talk about what conference means to her and her hopes for our community.
Hi everyone, my name is Zainab Mohammed and I live in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I have Marfan syndrome. I try to attend the conference every year and I have been lucky enough to attend 3 wonderful physical conferences as well as all of the virtual conferences, which have been so convenient, accessible, and incredibly helpful. Through these conferences, I have met amazing people, made lifelong friendships, and found a community that truly became like family to me. The virtual conference is such an amazing way to learn more about Marfan syndrome and related conditions. I think it is especially important for people who are newly diagnosed, in the process of diagnosis, or even for those who simply want to better understand these conditions and what they involve. Growing up, I never realized how many related conditions there were, and through the conference, I was able to understand so many misconceptions I had over the years. For example, I always thought I was not allowed to exercise or stay active because of my heart condition. Through the latest research, expert advice, and developments in the field, the conference gave me hope and helped me realize that I can live life strongly and proudly while accepting who I am. I have learned so many helpful techniques, treatments, and ways to take care of myself better. One of the biggest bonuses is the connections you make. I truly hope the virtual conference allows us to interact with each other, whether we live near or far apart. It reminds us that we are never alone. We learn from one another and support each other through both our strongest and weakest moments.
Thank you so much, Zainab, for sharing that. We really appreciate it. Now it's my pleasure and honor to introduce and a welcome from 2 extraordinary people, our board chair, Bert Medina, and our president and CEO, Michael, whom you've already met in our opening video. Bert is a longtime leadership volunteer for the foundation, culminating in his current service as our board of directors chair. Bert heads up the Greater Miami region's WPLG 10 as the station's president and CEO. Bert also lives with Marfan syndrome and has experienced a complex medical journey. He considers himself a living miracle from a health standpoint and wants you to know he understands exactly where so many of members of our community are coming from. Bert is a friend to our community, his fellow volunteers, and our staff team. He's also here to remind you today that you are never alone. You are surrounded by community. Michael has been president and CEO of the Marfan Foundation since 2015. Prior to his professional leadership of the foundation, his initial involvement as a volunteer dates back to 1999, and subsequently he served as both a member of the board of directors and as an advisor. Michael has led the foundation through a period of extraordinary transformational growth in terms of research advances, funding to power our mission, and program and community connection expansion. His concern and care for the communities we serve, our leadership volunteers, our staff team, is in 2 words, simply boundless. Let's hear now from Bert and Michael as they welcome us all to Conference 2026.
You know, when I think about the conference, I think of these endless opportunities to connect. Having a couple thousand people all united at a virtual conference, that's something you can't do in person.
The fact that we have over 50 countries represented, some of the countries, there's no way that they could travel. Yet our knowledge and information is touching those lives. That is impactful. The critical benefit is to realize that what's happening to you is not only to you. There are many people who have that, and that you'll be able to follow up. You can go to marfan.org, you can follow up, you can find out from our help center. You're not alone. You'll hear stories of other people, but more importantly, you're not alone. We're here to help you.
The Marfan Foundation has the greatest professional advisory board of its type. Our scientific advisory board is second to none. When you come to this virtual conference, you will get to spend your days with some of the most remarkable, successful, knowledgeable, and interested physicians and medical community members you will ever meet in your life.
When you join through this virtual setting, you will be able to hear from the experts in our conditions. They will be able to give you the information that you have needed and that can change your life. And we're talking about people who are legends in this field. I think it's so critical to have information and knowledge and to realize that you're not alone, that there is a huge community out there that you are a member of, you're part of. So that's why it's so important to have each and every one of you involved in this conference.
You know, when I think of welcoming this community, the immediate word that comes to mind is it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to share the wisdom of so many medical leaders and community members with individuals from varied backgrounds from many countries that would have never had the opportunity to be in a virtual room together, you know, and so it's magical. The greatest strength of the Marfan Foundation is its community. And events like this is an opportunity to bring that amazing community together. But truthfully, there would be no conference if it weren't for you. And we are honored to have you with us for these very, very, very special days.
I sincerely hope that throughout this whole conference, you get the information that you need in order to empower your decisions and take control of your healthcare. If you need anything else, we are here as a resource for you anytime you need us.
Thank you so much, Bert and Michael, for your leadership. As Bert and Michael mentioned, if you need help with non-urgent medical questions during conference or at any time, please reach out to us at marfan.org/ask. While we're so proud to bring you expert medical information and community connection from around the world, we also are very sensitive to the fact that many members of our community have experienced some level of medical trauma that may make participation in any health-related education program emotionally complex. Here with some tips for making the most of conference while giving yourself the gifts of peace and grace is a true expert in well-being, Dr. Melody M. Pannell. Melody is the Director of Healthcare Leadership, Education, and Community Wellness at UVA Health in Charlottesville, Virginia. She brings a wealth of professional experience and deep education in trauma and resilience, addressing social disparities and health inequities. Let's hear from Melody now.
Hi, Dr. Melody M. Pannell. I serve as the Director of Healthcare Leadership Education and Community Wellness at the University of Virginia Health Systems. I'd like to offer just a few tips for the participants that are at this conference. Number one, I want you to prepare yourself mentally. You may experience some emotional or mental stress due to the nature of the discussion at the conference. So therefore, number two, practice mindfulness. Take some deep breaths. Imagine a peaceful or happy place that you can go to when you're feeling any stress, and be as present as you can, but give yourself permission to experience your thoughts and any emotions. Number three, practice self-awareness. Remember, it's a normal response to feel any mixed emotions about the medical education you're receiving as you reflect on your own personal medical experience. So be gentle with yourself, be kind, be patient, and remember that knowledge is power. So I encourage you to use this medical knowledge to empower yourself to continue on your journey towards health, hope, and resilience.
Thank you, Melody. We do have resources available at marfan.org/mental-health that center on well-being. And of course, we invite you to use those resources whenever you may need them. We're here for you. Know that it's okay to take breaks and to take part in conference in the way that feels most comfortable to you. We are just so glad that you're here with us today. Now, we will hear from one more community member during this portion of our welcome. Board member Joaquin Ramos Jr. Joaquin learned he had Marfan syndrome as an adult after emergency surgical repair of an aortic dissection. He is a leader in supporting mental health and well-being, aortic dissection awareness, and our Spanish language programming. Joaquin brings warmth, friendship, and unwavering dedication to his leadership volunteer role. Let's listen to Joaquin's thoughts on our global community and how we can get the most out of conference together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joaquin Ramos Jr. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I have Marfan syndrome. The Marfan Foundation and the community has played a pivotal role in my life. I think it's allowed me to really come to acceptance that my life isn't any different because I have Marfan syndrome. I have such a beautiful community around me and people that are inspiring, and you hear stories, you listen to these stories, and it really just puts you in a place where, like, yeah, what, I can do that. And so the Marfan Foundation and the community really have inspired me in many ways to grow, develop as a person. I would say what's cool about what it means to bring our global community together, I think it's a very humbling thing, right? Technology allows us this capability of making the world smaller, right? So regardless of where you are in the world, we all get to connect and share our life experiences and the struggles that we go through, right? And the positives and the wins. So just kind of being really big into being a global citizen, and been fortunate to have that global mindset, experiencing it, traveling to different places, and then being on calls like with Spanish language and hearing people that are going through any connective tissue disorder and hearing their stories, whether it's in Latin America or anywhere else. So, and finally, what should you, as far as you're going to hear a lot of information at this virtual conference, and I'm really, really excited for you all. If you're joining for the first time, we have such amazing speakers, doctors, community members, and I just recommend for you write things down, reflect on it, and then if you have any follow-up questions, that's where the foundation plays that pivotal role, where you could connect with someone at the foundation, and then they'll point you where the right resource is. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, you're overwhelmed with information, because that's going to be normal. There's going to be a lot of great information shared, but take things one thing at a time, right? You can't build a house quickly, right? You got to start with the foundation, and then there's building blocks, right? And that's what these conferences and that the foundation does. Is amazing, because they're small little building blocks. I remember when I attended my first conference in 2022, right? And it was like, wow, this wealth of information. And then as I kept going to each conference then it kept building the house more and more and more. And it's made me more confident as a member of this community, right? Sharing my story and my experiences. So take things in small things, just pick one or two things that you really want to get out of this conference. And then remember, you got the foundation where you can call them, email them, and they will point you in the right direction. I can't wait to meet you all really soon. And yeah, let's get this thing rolling.
It is always so wonderful to hear from Joaquin. Thank you, Joaquin. And as he shared, now let's roll. I am noticing in the chat, we are seeing people checking in from all around the world, all around the United States. It is so wonderful to see you all here. And now it's time for our general session program with the Career-Focused Personal Perspectives panel, moderated by Dominga No. Dominga is a longtime member of the Marfan Foundation community, whose personal and professional journey reflect the power of connection, advocacy, and leadership. Diagnosed with Marfan syndrome at the age of 9, Dominga knows firsthand what it's like to navigate life with a genetic aortic condition. In 2016, she joined the Marfan Foundation as its first staff member living with Marfan syndrome, bringing a unique perspective to her work and a deep commitment to supporting others in the community. Many of you may know Dominga as our teen program manager, where she fiercely guards the well-being of our teens and helps them blossom into confident adults. And if you're enjoying this virtual program, you also have Dominga to thank, as she works as our foundation's technical content manager as well and has done a great job this year of working with our vendors and volunteers to make sure we all have a seamless conference experience. So thank you, Dominga. It's my pleasure to introduce the one and only Dominga No. Dominga.
And Dominga, you are on mute. Please
Yes.
unmute. Thank you.
My apologies, everyone. Let's try that again. Hello, everyone. Thank you, April Dawn, and welcome to our career-focused personal perspectives panel. Today's session will highlight personal experiences and insights related to navigating career development, workplace challenges, and professional growth while living with a genetic aortic or vascular condition. Building a career can be rewarding, exciting, and sometimes challenging for anyone. For individuals living with a genetic condition, there can be additional considerations, from managing health needs and medical appointments to advocating for accommodations and finding the confidence to pursue professional goals. I am honored to introduce our 3 outstanding panelists who will share their experiences navigating the workforce with a chronic condition. Our first panelist is Peter Donato, who serves as a financial aid and admissions associate at Boston University. Peter has been an active member of the Marfan Foundation community for many years, including, but certainly not limited to, co-leading our teen program. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Dominga. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the virtual conference. Like Dominga said, my name is Peter Donato. I live in Boston, and I was diagnosed with Loeys-Dietz when I was in 5th grade, about 20 years ago. My career path has been a lot of different things along the way. Started out in middle school, where I was an umpire for Little League Baseball for a couple of years. I had played for a few years, and then I stopped playing and decided, because I love sports, to continue being involved, and decided to become an umpire for a few years. When I got to high school, still wanted to be involved with sports. I chose to become a manager, a volunteer position for the boys basketball team and eventually the girls softball team, to where I was still a part of the team, traveled with them across the state to various games, and enjoying that. Outside of school, I worked a couple random jobs at department stores. While doing that, always knowing my limits, and if I needed to take an extra trip to move some merchandise, I took it, and thankfully my managers were very approving of that and allowed me to do that. When I got to college, I continued my managerial career with the women's basketball team. Once again, traveling across the region of New England, working practices and games with them, and continuing to be involved with sports. Outside of the gym, I also got a position with the Boston Red Sox, working security at Fenway Park, which was a lot of fun growing up as a Red Sox fan. And once again, being involved with sports, it's what I love. It's what I've always loved. So was able to do that. Thankfully, I knew my body, and I was able to handle the standing for various hours during the game. And I had a lot of fun doing it. Was able to meet a lot of awesome people. And then when I got out of college, I went back to work, during a couple of breaks for college, I worked at a liquor store. And even after I graduated college, I worked at a liquor store. Once again, with manager approval, if they needed help stocking merchandise, I was able to do it within some of within my weight limit and how much I could carry, which usually involved a couple extra trips. But once I got really lucky that the managers said, as long as the job gets done, we don't care how long it takes you to move what you got to move. Working a full-time job, working in development and fundraising. And that was behind the computer. It involved a lot of heavy lifting, and that's what I was looking for when I was looking for a full-time job, was something that didn't involve being like an office mule moving stuff around. And it was a really good experience doing stuff like that. And that led me into my current position that Domingo mentioned, working at Boston University, where once again, at a desk for the day, working on a computer, meeting with students and other staff and faculty to help make sure everything runs smoothly. So I've been lucky to be able to find jobs that I like, that also work within my limits of having voice feeds. So blessed to do that, and that's my career path for now. Who knows what comes next? Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we have Micah Ander-Clark, Senior Manager of Clinical Informatics and Pharmacy Terminology at Optum. Micah has built a successful career in healthcare informatics and leadership, and will share insights on professional advancement, workplace culture, and managing health while pursuing career goals. Welcome, Micah.
Thank you. Micah Ander-Clark, for those of us who haven't met yet. It's hard for me to believe, but I have been connected to the Marfan Foundation now for about 25 years, which is incredible and hard for me to believe. I currently live in Buffalo, New York, near Niagara Falls, with my wife Stephanie and our two children, Connor and Audrey, who also both happen to have Marfans. I was diagnosed with Marfans when I was in kindergarten while living in Alaska, and I've been slowly making my way east since. Our family moved around a lot, relocating quite a bit, and I have lived in Alaska, Wisconsin, Maryland, Massachusetts, and now New York. Like many of us, early on in life, and during my teenage years in particular, I had a fair share of interactions, to put it mildly, with amazing nurses and doctors and therapists and surgeons. And throughout my life, I've had about 20-ish surgeries, procedures, or different interventions. I only have one kidney, and I'm pretty much sure everything that could go wrong at this point has gone wrong. But during my formative years, after experiencing the selflessness and devotion and just genuine care of health professionals, it pushed me to want to eventually pursue a career and a future in healthcare. But personally, I knew that med school and residency and everything that came after it was just not in the cards for me. And this is the first hint at a theme that I'm going to try to incorporate, and that when looking for a career, or really life in general, it's not necessarily looking at things that you want to do, or the things that you love, or the things that drive you, but things that you don't like, and that don't light your flame, and that don't stimulate you. For me, I had a job at a local mom and pop pharmacy in high school. You guys know the type, where you know everyone and by first name, and you make small talk about your extended family while checking out. And it was great. And from that experience, I decided and went on to pursue pharmacy school in Boston, Massachusetts. College was not easy for me. It was riddled with health scares, surgeries, time off, and a lot of frustration. But during those years in school, I hopped around the various branches of my profession, finding out what I liked, and more importantly, what I didn't like. I found, for example, that a retail store doing 300 scripts a day was not for me. What called to me instead was working alongside nurses and anesthesiologists and surgeons in the operating room pharmacies of large medical centers. Now, make no mistake, no career path is straight and narrow. I knew that those 14-hour shifts on your feet, running from case to case or emergency to emergency, while it was an amazing experience in my 20s, was not sustainable in the long term. So I took a gamble, an opportunity. I swapped my uniform of scrubs, a surgical cap, and a mask for a suit and tie, for a 9 to 5 industry and a corporate consulting job. It could not have been a harder pivot. And again, finding out those things that I loved, but those other things not so much. I am not a collared shirt and tie person. I don't like traveling for work. But it was here doing epidemiology and health outcomes research and population health that I found what really called to me and what really drove me. I would never have ended up where I am or who I am had I not explored, had I not leaned into those things that I liked and navigated away from those things that I didn't care for. Throughout my career, I have faced a multitude of interruptions. Time off for surgeries, time off for doctor's appointments, time off for emergencies. And what I found, and it might seem cliche, is that we all have something. People get sick. Houses flood, cars crash, life happens. Employers know this, and good employers anticipate this. Good employees set the expectation. They'll pick up where they left off. They make sure that the work gets done. But how and when that happens is something that is becoming more and more flexible in the workplace. You have a doctor's appointment? No worries. Maybe you just plug an extra hour later on to make up the time. Given the time off, the emergencies, and the surgeries that I faced as an adult, holding a steady job, putting in my 40 hours, I've never faced any real criticism or difficulty from a professional workplace. And truth be told, if I had, I'm not sure that I would really want to work there to begin with. Being choosy of where you work and who you work with is paramount. Planning, anticipating, and open and clear communication have succeeded for me. The other piece of the puzzle, or advice, if you'll have it, is persistence. Call it being stubborn or hard-headed, but what it really is just persistence. It's not giving up easy. Just ask my wife. It is about rising every morning. It is about showing up as best you can, as often as you can. Now, this is a tough proposition for us, for those with Marfan's and related disorders, especially for us who have faced insurmountable odds, and that we have dealt with setback after setback or roadblock after roadblock, even at a very early age. For those of us with mobility issues or chronic pain, it is, plain and simple, hard to carry on day after day. It is easy sometimes to bend and give in to the gray that can sometimes darken our lives. But it is the persistence in the face of all of that that gets us through. To me, my condition has never really truly defined who I am. I'm a father, a husband, a brother, and a son. I have Marfan's, but it does not define who I am or who I choose to be. Our condition does not need to encompass the entirety of our lives, nor our person. Nor should it define our careers. If you like puzzles or numbers, become an accountant. If you like flowers, go to the garden center. If you like music, look into sound engineering. If you like animals, vet tech. You can pivot into anything that brings you joy and surround yourself with what brings you meaning. In all, keep in mind that one, no career is a straight path. You should lean into the things that you like and learn from the things that you don't. And finally, it's persistence in the face of everything that is in front of us. It defines who you are and will shape who you become. Thank you.
Thank you, Micah. That was fantastic. Our final panelist is Bella Marin. As a registered nurse, Bella combines her professional healthcare expertise with her lived experience, offering a unique perspective on navigating a demanding career while managing a genetic condition. Welcome, Bella.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dominga. Um, I'm Bella. I have VEDS and I am a registered nurse and I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and nursing. I will say that nothing in my journey has ever been planned. So we all deal with the spontaneous nature of our medical conditions, and that's just how I've headed my life. Never did I think I would end up where I am right now. So it is a little bit of a unique story, but since I've been a patient, I was diagnosed with VEDS when I was 10. I knew that I wanted to go into nursing. We've had, we love our nurses that have helped us and made us feel very special. And once I got into high school, I kind of started to get a little scared that maybe I couldn't handle nursing. I had my first big event in major surgery when I was 18, when I was graduating from high school. So I decided to pivot. I was also scared of poking people with needles. So I was like, I probably can't do this. And so I ended up pursuing psychology first, still wanting to do something healthcare related with psychology. Once I got a little older, was closer to graduating with my psychology degree, I finally was like, I shouldn't let VEDS dictate what I want to do with my life. I think I can handle nursing. And I decided to apply to nursing school because graduating with a bachelor's in psych wasn't going to get me anywhere. I would have had to do more school anyways. So I applied to nursing school, and I had always told myself that even if I couldn't work as a nurse, I at least wanted that education and background to help me as a patient because I knew I would benefit from that knowledge that I would gain in nursing school. I had no idea what I was going to do afterwards, but I knew that I wanted to be a nurse. And getting into nursing school, I did have some challenges. I actually had 3 hospitalizations, and it was the first time my colon perforated. Uh, and it was like Micah said, the stubbornness that kept me going. I was like, I'm not going to let VEDS defeat me. I'm gonna graduate. Who knows what I'm gonna do after? And I even had professors and people that I worked with in nursing school doubt me. I remember I met with my critical care instructor because I met with my professors each semester to let them know about my accommodations and just give them a heads up. Like, I may end up in the hospital during this time during a semester. And one of my critical care instructors actually was questioning what kind of nurse I would be. She was like, maybe you should look into psych nursing because it's not demanding. And as she got to understand VEDS and know me, she was like, you're going to actually be a great nurse. And then I had a preceptor who I would do the shifts with in the hospital. And he even told me, you have the brains to be a nurse, but your condition probably is going to limit you. So, it's not nice hearing those things. And I think hearing those things just makes me want to do things more. So I graduated nursing school and I had a job lined up in the hospital. Why? I don't know. I think I was all googly eyes that, I'm a little baby nurse. I was excited. I got hired. And I had 4 different follow-up appointments the week before I was going to have orientation, and all 4 doctors told me to, if I could afford to stay home and rest and recover because my colon had just perforated the semester before, that I should do that. So I quit my job before I started. I was very sad about it. And the next month, I had a major VEDS event where I was unable to work. I was unable to use my arms, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was really glad that I had quit my job before I started. And it actually happened at the Marfan conference that we met with Dr. Melowitz, which I'm sure many of you may know. My mom was being my momager and told her, I graduated from nursing school. We don't really know what I'm going to do. I was trying to get a feel out and talk to people and just see what I could do with my nursing and psychology degree because I knew hospitals weren't going to be it for me. And Dr. Milowitz actually took a chance on me and she hired me. So my first job out of nursing school was being a research study coordinator and a clinic coordinator. And it was a dream job for me, like working in the Texas Medical Center. I felt so cool. And the thing about it is I had to leave my hometown and move to a completely brand new city by myself. So I moved to Houston where I have no family. We took a big chance on it. Me and my family had always said, let's just give it a few years. If I can't handle it, I could always move back, but at least I tried. And so that was the mindset that I had moving over. We felt comfortable me moving over here by myself because of the great healthcare system that Houston has, being in the medical center. And right at my 5 year mark, I had a really big colon perforation and awful complications and surgery. And I think that was my body telling me that I needed to slow down. I had started to feel very worn out. I think I had energy in the beginning of the job because it was a new city, it was a new job. I was feeling very fresh, and I really crashed and burned. Um, I felt like I was letting the research lab down. I felt like I was letting my patients down, and that was all contributing to my stress and burnout. And I tried so hard to keep up with the standards of my peers, which was again was contributing to the burnout. So after my perforation, I realized that this was too much for me, and I owe it to my patients and to the research participants to step down. And it was a really hard decision. But I ended up getting a job with the John Ritter Foundation, so a cousin organization to the Marfan Foundation, where I'm a patient and advocacy coordinator. So I help patients understand their diagnosis, anybody who's at risk for an aneurysm or dissection, and make sure everybody has the resources to navigate their diagnosis. Because as a patient, I know that, healthcare professionals they don't have the time to spend with each patient, and it's not their fault. So I'm still in my dream role where I'm helping patients. It's remote, it's part-time. I've had to really accept that I can't work full-time anymore. Um, and I'm really happy that I took that chance. So my message is, having all of our conditions is a full-time job in itself. And it really makes you start to feel like you're less of a person, but you're not. We are all doing the best that we can with the circumstances that we are given. And my advice is to try. Even if you don't think you can, try it out. And if you can't handle it, at least you tried. At least you tried to pursue the job that you wanted or the degree. Um, and you can say that you did and try something else that, like Micah said, is in your wheelhouse of what you like. I've always known that I've wanted to help patients understand their diagnosis, and I'm exactly in that fit now. I never anticipated that I would be here, but I wouldn't have also gotten here without, my family and friends supporting me. So if you're a caregiver for anybody who has one of these conditions, like please give extra support. Having my mom help me get through nursing school, help me with meals, and I would rest. I didn't have to worry about household chores, and that was a big lifesaver for me. And even now, she flies to Houston to help me out whenever I have an emergency. So I'm thankful to everybody that's around me. I know that it's kind of a blessed position where I come from, um, but there are a lot of resources out there and accommodations to help people with jobs and at school. You just have to ask. There's a lot of things that we don't know, but we don't know. And if you talk more, even becoming involved with places like the Marfan Foundation is how I found a lot of resources that were available to me when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So thank you.
Thank you, Bella. And thank you to all of our panelists for sharing their incredible stories. Now, for all of you, I have a few questions. Are you all ready? Okay. So I have some questions, and please, to the folks who are joining us, go ahead and share your questions for the panelists in the Q&A section, and we will try to get to all of them in the remaining time we have. But just to get started, Micah, you touched on this a little bit, but to everybody, what inspired you to pursue your chosen career, and whether your diagnosis influenced that decision in any way? Micah, you mentioned that in your presentation. If you would like to expand on that a little bit, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. Where I am now versus where I started, right, is different. But I had a lot of health things that came up in high school and middle school. I had two aortic dissections in high school, and which was it was a lot, but like it kind of shoved me front and center into healthcare, right? I got to know nurses and doctors and surgeons and all kinds of people very, very well. And so looking at them, kind of idolizing them, I kind of knew that like, oh, I want to do something with my life like that. And it's if we also look back at that time, right, the treatments for Marfan's, the life expectancy, it was very different. So I was kind of very much into like, what can I do that I would have the biggest impact or make the biggest difference? And so for me, like it was healthcare. But I knew that I didn't really want to become a doctor because I didn't want to, no offense, but I didn't want to get out of school when I was like 35 and then dive into life. I wanted to live a little bit more before that. I got, a job at a local